What's up, everyone? It's been a weird time right now for cardboard, but we have some Rosetta. It's been strange in terms of the reaction that people have been having over a lot of the things that have been going on in both Flesh and Blood. Although Flesh and Blood not as prevalent in terms of the negative reaction to certain bands, and then Magic the Gathering. So I know kind of odd to be talking about Magic the Gathering on a Flesh and Blood box opening, but I mean at this point we all know the card names, and it's mostly just stream of consciousness thinking while I open these up and see what we get. Hopefully getting some Marvels like we always want. I am a collector, so Marvels are my priority and what I look for and what I trade for usually. I do play the game a little bit, but not as much as I would like, if I'm being honest, and that's just time and everything else. But let's get into it. I guess the main thing was the original bands, like maybe, I don't know, a month ago for Zen. And everybody knew. We all knew it was coming. Like, let's be real. Zen was a little too chaotic in the format, and I don't even high voltage. I don't even mean chaotic. I just mean he was unstoppable, guys. He was with the right tech, stoppable. But I don't know. Zen was rough. Everybody agreed Zen was rough. And so taking apart the pieces that made him, I actually just saw I think it was the player count for Leon, and the Battle Hardened, I think it is. And I think there was only, how many Zens were there? Not many. I know there was like 3 Ocelos. The reason I bring Ocelo up is because Ocilio is because people are really talking about. I've seen mutterings about him and his difficulty of play, which I think is interesting. I don't play Wizards, so I really can't. Where are my stuff here? I really can't comment to that necessarily, but going back to the bands, it's part of the game. It's speaking again as a collector, you kind of just prepare for the fact that stuff's going to go away. Stuff's going to lose its value. I think one of the things that I commentated about on one of my social medias, even though I try not to use them very often, obviously I have to use them for stuff like this, but was that this isn't the stock market. I made a comment on somebody's post that basically said, come play Fab, we don't think it's the stock market, in reference to the Commander bans, which in terms of Commander being a bannable or an upsettable format for as casual it's supposed to be. I always thought that was kind of interesting that people were losing their minds over the bans there. But I get it. You spend money on something and you're gonna want it to retain value from one perspective, and the other perspective is you're going to you spent money on it. It's literally like somebody taking money away from you. But I don't know. If we're putting that much value in cardboard, there might be something else that's a concern. But again, this coming from somebody who I collect for the art. I collect if a game is good and nice to look at. Cool, I got a play set of that now, and I already have these, but that's cool. I got a play set of 10 foot tall and bulletproof. I've not hit the extended art here though, so that's kind of one thing that I haven't been able to do yet. The Commander bands were something completely different. Now, to be fair, I don't own a Jeweled Lotus. I've got some packs that, from what I've seen, probably have a Jeweled Lotus in them. So, it'll be nice to have finally pulled one in my career of collecting Magic. I collected back in '96 up until, I don't know, early 2000s, and then took a break until COVID, like a lot of other people. And so it'll be interesting to see if I pull one, and I'll probably still have the same opinions. So it's like it's again, if we're trying to treat this like it's a retirement plan, you're probably gonna have a bad time. If you can at least keep some perspective on cards come and go, man. I played Standard for a long time, and that's just it. Cards absolutely come and go. They're never going to retain their shininess, I guess you could say, ironically enough, as we pull a rare foil. It's just never going to happen. And so I think it's important that we keep perspective. And I think I saw something about them, the Commander or the CEDH splitting off from EDH, and it's like, okay, so we're going to have a casual format split off from, I guess, a competitive casual format. It's like, okay, that's cool, I guess. Keep on keeping on, guys. Whatever you want to do. I wish they would make the competitive scene a little bit more like Flesh and Blood. I wish they would go back to the old Magic competitive scene with like the Pro Tour and stuff like that. And I know it's a financial thing. There's no money in it, in terms of like, I guess, return on investment. But I don't know. Let me turn down. I've been doing too much talking and not enough looking at my white balance. Let me turn that down just a little. See if that's any better. I'm operating off of it's a DJI Osmo, and it's a cool little versatile machine, but you know, you gotta my view screen is like this big. So all right, we are maybe a quarter of the way through. Nothing crazy spicy. This is my third case out of the box. That's cool artwork. This is my third box out of this case, and so far, I mean, oh, there's a Majestic. Vaporize and Shock. I don't know if that'll focus again because I can't really see on my tiny viewfinder. Yeah, I don't know. Hot takes. Nobody's going to agree with me, I'm sure. But I don't know. It's just, I was hearing about all the bans, and with the Art of War ban, everybody complained. Oh, I watched a video. That's what it was. It was a video on Fabled Hunters, and they were talking about banning Art of War, and they were talking about banning something else. Oh, Tunic. I mean, and it's funny because everybody was saying, well, how can you ban these things? And my opinion was that, I mean, it's like old Tyler Durden says in Fight Club, on a long enough timeline, the survival rate drops to 0. And, you know, if a card causes enough wake, or I guess if it's definitive enough of a format, or an auto-include, they call it, or things like that, if it's enough of that, then you're going to invoke the ire of somebody. You're going to eventually, see your day. And some of those cards saw it, knowing that there were other things in the pipeline, other things coming. They just, it was only a matter of time. A lot of people don't agree with that, I guess. But like I said, I'm coming from a format that rotates out cards with Magic Standard and Living Legend. You know, Flesh and Blood has Living Legend. And so there already are formats that rotate things out. You got to get used to losing stuff. Now, that's a different story from a financial standpoint, obviously, but my point is that it's a game. I know they don't like the what do they call them? Game piece. They don't like the game piece argument, but what are they otherwise? You know? Cards. Shiny cardboard, homie. That's it. Now you'll see me freak out if I pull a marble. That'll negate my whole argument. I think we're about halfway through the case now. Let's see, or through the box. Let's see what else we got. Let's hope for something good out of this one, because, like I said, third box, and it's been, I don't want to call it quiet, but a little bit quieter than I would like. Succumb to Temptation. And it's funny, I think that's my very first one of those. 99% sure. And not even a foil. Again, not that it matters because it's cardboard. No, but in all reality, yeah, I get it. You know, people love things. When they love things, they don't like to see them change. People love the game. People love collecting. People love all sorts of stuff. And like I said, when you enjoy something and it's your hobby and you put your money into it, I get it. Why would you want to see it messed with? I wouldn't. But the reality is, it's outside of our control. That and more so, I think what's even more interesting is people were more upset, I feel, about the Magic the Gathering bans than they were about the Flesh and Blood bans. Flesh and Blood bands, everybody, I think because everybody kind of saw it coming, everybody had their moment to deal with it. But speaking of butt, I think for Magic, everybody felt blindsided, except for Dockside. Dockside Extortionist, everybody knew that one was going, so there was no shocked Pikachu face there. But that being said, again, it's what I find interesting is a third party banned cards that the primary party of Wizards of the Coast obviously but allegedly knew about. And I just think that that's odd that the third part of the rules committee that they act like they're Wizards of the Coast proper. No, they're a third party fake format. And I don't mean fake format in terms of like, obviously Wizard has adapted Commander, and obviously you can play Commander mental block. You can play Commander in its form on Arena, which is called, what's it called? It's a 60 card singleton format, so not exactly Commander, so it's still different. But the point is that, you know, it's a casual third party group that decided not to use these specific 4 cards, and that's why I think, okay, you just splinter off, rule 0 it, or splinter off from it. Don't threaten people. Don't drive this stuff crazy. Just rule 0 it and keep using your cards. Let's not be ridiculous about it, you know? In a weird timeline where everybody has to freak out about everything, this is not something that is all that crazy. But again, what do I know? Hey, there's a cold foil. Kind of neat. I don't know if I have that one. Let's go ahead and sleeve that, because I have a lot of the other cold foils for the common equipment, but I think I'm missing that one actually. 3 more packs. Let's see what we get. Let's see how much longer I can ramble on about nothing incoherently. Let's see. So yeah, I don't know. I guess that's kind of where I sit with the bans, is it's like, all right, moving on. I think most normal people agree with that too. I think most normal people are kind of like, okay, well, next thing, I didn't have one, I didn't own one, whatever, doesn't matter. I'm going to rule 0 it, none of it matters. Competitive casual format's kind of an oxymoron. And I get a bunch of hate in the comments for that. That's fine, it is what it is, but alright, let's see. I think actually I need this in cold foil to get all of them. Rare's an art card. Got a cool little rare foil. Okay, last pack. Let's see what we get. Let's see if I'll get any value in this shiny cardboard that I just spent 12 minutes talking down. Well grounded, condemned to slaughter, count your blessings. Nope, nothing crazy. I will say though, these perforated cards are sick. I loved those from Heavy Hitters. Those are super cool. Alright, well there we go. No major gas. Thanks for tuning in.